Welcome back.
Welcome back or welcome to Pillow Talk with the Daniels, where conversations get cozy and real.
Yeah. Episode 2, baby. This is about your boy. But on a serious note, this is about me living with end-stage renal failure and lupus. Okay. We're gonna take y'all back to 2022, November to be exact. I was in Iowa. I was in Iowa for 3 months, working. And the last 2 weeks of me being in Iowa, I ended up going to the hospital because my blood pressure was super high, and
Headaches.
huh,
Sorry, headaches and stuff.
yeah, and I was having headaches and stuff, which is kind of normal for me, but at this time it was really bad. Um, so I was admitted, and I was in there for about 4 or 5 days. But the entire time I was in there, of course, doing all the blood work and everything, they found out that I had what is called chronic kidney disease, which I didn't even know. And it was at an early stage. So they were going to treat it with medication and just wait till I got home to see my nephrologist, which is a kidney doctor. So everything was fine. Everything was great. We go into December, and uh, towards the end of December, me and Tia actually went out on a date, and we were on a date, and everything was fine. Now after the date, we were picking up our kids, Taylor and Cameron, and my chest started hurting really bad. And I came home and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just take my meds and I'm gonna just go to bed. And Tia, of course, is like, not happening. Go on up there,
Not
see
with
them
no
folks.
chest
Go and
pains.
see them folks. And so I went, and I actually ended up being admitted. Blood pressure was high again and everything. And the chest pains didn't subside with the medicine they were giving me. So I ended up being admitted. And I know for sure I was there New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So I spent bringing in 2023 in the hospital. Um, and again, they brought up chronic kidney disease, and this time it had went up a level. There's different levels to it, but this time it had went up. And I met with my nephrologist, and we went over some meds, and that was supposed to keep me kind of like contained. So throughout the months of 2023, things just started getting worse. So I ended up being in the hospital a little bit more, going and having stays and stuff like that. And I want to say September of 23 is when it started going downhill and going down fast. I was actually in college. I was enrolled in college. And I was going to school and I was working. And I oh, I ended up being admitted into the hospital. I can't remember exactly what for, but I know I ended up being admitted. I can't remember what was the reason.
I can't remember either,
Yeah.
but this was September 2023.
Yeah.
I am 9 months pregnant. He was in school and working. And at this point, I was like 37 weeks, like literally any day now. And Chris was admitted from like September 16th
To the end of the month.
to the end of the month. Like he was there that's the longest time he has ever been admitted. Now, like he said, he goes frequently. What was all anytime he goes to the hospital, he's always been admitted for like 3 or 4 days. This time it was 13 days.
Yeah.
And I'm so pregnant, and I'm just like worried as I don't know what.
Yeah. While I was in there, they did a whole bunch of tests and
Kidney biopsy.
kidney biopsies and all this other stuff. Because at this point, I'm just my GFR. I know it's a bunch of stuff that you might not understand, but my GFR was going down, and that needs to be up to have good kidneys.
So he had a kidney biopsy earlier in the year. And you had a second kidney biopsy in September.
Yeah.
A kidney biopsy basically where they go in. Were you awake? No?
Yeah, you're awake. They go in and they kind of take some samples.
They go into your back and take some samples of your kidney to see if it's just inflamed or is it scarring.
Yeah.
We were hoping that Chris was just inflamed, where that's reversible. If you have inflammation, that's reversible with medication and stuff like that. But if it's scarred, there's no do-overs. Yeah. So Chris unfortunately had more scarring than he had inflammation. That's why I'm here. So,
September.
Yeah.
Come out of the hospital for literally 5 days, and we have Christian.
Yeah.
Now, here's the crazy part about that. We go in, have a crazy, and if you have not went and viewed, go view the video about Christian's birth.
Yes.
We have Christian, and the day that we're discharging, while we're having Christian, I noticed that my legs went from normal to they were swelling. I couldn't see my ankles. I couldn't see any of that. It looked like my thigh and my leg all connected. It didn't look like I had a knee or ankles. It was both of my legs were like that. They were so swollen.
Mind you, I didn't even realize it. I mean, I just had a if y'all know, if y'all go watch that labor vlog, if you haven't already, I had a very traumatic birth with Christian. So I had no idea that Chris was, if you look at that video, how happy he was, how emotional he was, I did not know that he would experience all that swelling, even though we knew he had kidney issues. But this is the very early stage that, we knew it happened in January. It kind of just, so the medicine you were getting from January up to September was basically to keep his kidney from rejecting itself. So it was working for a while, but then after a while, it just wasn't working for him anymore. So I'm 9 months pregnant, giving birth, and I noticed I done had Christian. The day is going by, and I noticed that I don't know. I could just tell. Being his wife, I could just tell.
And I was sleeping. It was like I couldn't stay awake. I kept falling asleep. And
I thought you were just tired, but
I thought it was too, but I just couldn't stay awake. And then I started hurting. Like my body just started hurting all over. So I remember putting the bags, going to take the bags. We get ready to discharge from having Christian. I was taking the bags to the car, but as I'm doing that, I'm in so much pain that I felt like I couldn't walk anymore.
You was getting exhausted.
I was getting exhausted really fast. And I remember a nurse coming. She was coming into the building, and I was at my truck, kind of leaning on it. And she was like, "Are you okay?" And I kind of was like, "I don't even know at this point." And she told me, she said, "Hold on." She went and grabbed the wheelchair. They put me in a wheelchair, and I decided to call my nephrologist. Now, I called him and let him know what was going on. He immediately said, "Go to the front desk. You're going to be checked in." So I didn't even get to take 10 Christian home from the delivery.
No, I noticed he was we were getting ready to be discharged. He's grabbing our bags. And when he comes back, he's winded, kept leaning. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "I don't know." And I told the nurse to go check on you. And I was like, "Yeah, call the nephrologist, call his doctor." And so as I'm being in my wheelchair, wheeled away with a newborn baby in a car seat on my lap, my mom drove us home.
Shout out to Dukes.
And Chris was being, because we was going our separate ways. He was going to be admitted. I'm going home. And he was there for about another 4 or 5 days.
I was there for 5 days. Right after that, they was just like, hey, they had told me that dialysis was pretty much in my near future. It wasn't their time yet, but it's time to kind of get prepared and get ready for this journey of maybe transitioning to dialysis to help my kidneys out some. And I was kind of like, okay, that's fine. All right. And, I got to do what I got to do. So in November 15th, I ended up having my first fistula placement surgery right here. And that was on November 15th. So I had that surgery.
Show him again.
Right. No, you probably can't see it. But it's on my arm.
I can't really see
it. But I had that surgery, and I was working at the time. So Thanksgiving comes. Thanksgiving is great. And the Saturday after Thanksgiving, I ended up having bad headaches, and my chest was hurting again. And so it got to the point, anytime I ever would go to the hospital, it's because it's gotten to a point that I can't do anything to make myself feel better, or the medicine that I'm taking isn't doing anything. I'm just at that wit's end. It's not just like I wake up and all right, I'm gonna go to the hospital today. No, it's just like I'm at the point where
I can't do nothing.
I can't do nothing anymore. I need help. So I go to the hospital and they admit me. Now this time when they admit me, they do all my labs and all that other good stuff. They told me right then and there, would you like to do dialysis at home at night yourself, or would you like to go to the center? Because you have to start dialysis today.
Mm.
And at first I was like, the only time I've ever heard about dialysis, I heard about people going to the center, doing it 3 days a week. You sit down for a couple hours, it filters out your blood and all that other good stuff. And I was like, well, I tell you what, I'll do it at home. I tried at home first. So they said, okay. So I was given my catheter, which is in my stomach.
You said at home first, even before they did the fistula?
Yeah. So no. I was going to do it at center, but this hadn't matured enough to be used.
Once you get a fistula, you can't use it for 3 months. So Chris kind of already went ahead and got the fistula in hopes to never have, like, we knew someone that had got a fistula and didn't use it for a year. So, being that when you get a fistula in your arm for dialysis, you can't use it for 3 months. Like, it has to heal and all of that. Yeah. But in his case, he needed dialysis immediately.
And, bring this in. It was either do the dialysis through my stomach, through my PD calf, or they were going to put a tube in my neck until this matured. Mm-hmm. And that was a no-go. I'm not putting anything
you want to show me your lip?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can see it. Probably can't even see it. Let me see. I go to the back of the bed and see. I see a little bit. Yeah. Yes. I got it covered up so it's all balled up right now. I got it all taped down. But as they was doing that, so they end up doing the procedure, put the tube in my stomach, and I started dialysis immediately, like the very next day. So much that in the PD world of people, anybody who deals with dialysis, there's this thing called peritonitis that you in your life do not want to catch.
It's an infection.
It's an infection. It's terrible. And I caught it immediately after I got a placement. So I got dialysis and immediately caught peritonitis. It was hell. It was hell. But I was in the hospital then for another like 10 to 11 days. And so
no.
I was in there for like 2 weeks. Oh, not 2 weeks, a week and a half.
After Christian being born?
Yeah, I was in there for a minute when I got the tube.
Maybe like 5 days. The longest was 13 in September.
No, I was in there for like, if it wasn't, it was like 8 or it was like 9 or 10.
You might be right.
I was in there for a while.
It was okay, yeah, my bad.
Because right after
you had a surgery and then they had to check it and all of that. So probably like 9-10 days. Cause I know 13 was. I ain't gonna forget that number. That was the longest. So November was about the same, just maybe 3 days out early.
But wait, there's more, because not even 2 weeks later, I will be back in the hospital for another 3 days.
This was in December.
So
can I say this part?
Go ahead.
What part you gonna say? I want to make sure I want to make sure y'all understand the timeline.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was November, and I was going into December.
Me getting the tube was in December. December 1st, actually. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I got the tube in December, so I didn't go home till like the 9th or the 8th or 9th or something like that. 10th. But
yeah, that's right.
2 weeks later, the 22nd of December, I was on the phone with my brother talking, going to get food from Willie's, and my stomach was hurting so bad that I couldn't drive. I had to pull over and was on straight street laying because I was hurting so bad.
Throwing up.
Man, terrible.
Why? What you just said? Straight street laying?
Yeah, I was laying in the street.
Oh, say that.
That was straight street. I was laying straight on the street. I couldn't get comfortable in the car. I just opened the door on the little side street that I was driving down and just laid on the ground. Like, I could not do anything. It was hurting that bad. And it stopped. So I was able to get home. So when I got home, my mom was in town. So I called my mom. My mom's a nurse. So I called my mom, like, come to my house. Something's wrong. I'm throwing up. My stomach is hurting so bad. So they come here and it's full blown on. Like I don't know what's going on. My stomach is hurting. It was terrible. So
We called the ambulance.
Yeah.
Called 911. He's on the ground. You're in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You and your mom in the bathroom. You're throwing up. It's a mess. Called 911. They came and got you.
And they take me to the hospital, and I end up being in the hospital the 22nd, the 23rd, and got released on the 24th.
He got released Christmas Eve, y'all. Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. But I legitly, I don't even think I've been back since then.
Thank God. So here we are a year later. Knock, knock. No visits in 2024.
Yeah. Oh.
You wasn't admitted.
I wasn't admitted, but
So December 22 through the Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily
23. That's 23.
22nd, December 22nd.
No, December of 23. Christian was here, G. That was.
I am saying the date.
Oh, the
December 22nd, 2023. Two days. Now you're confusing everybody. So basically, y'all, December 22nd, 2023 to Christmas Eve, he was in the hospital. This necessarily wasn't from get in the frame.
My bad.
This wasn't necessarily from the kidney issues or whatever.
I kind of find out I was extremely constipated, and my bowels.
Get in the frame.
Damn. I was extremely constipated, and my bowels were like still. They weren't moving at all. So I could not leave the hospital until I pooped. That's just as simple. I could not leave. So I end up, thanking God, I ended up passing gas and things went to rolling on New Year's Eve. And I promise you, for what seems maybe in like an hour or two, seemed like forever because I was waiting on the doctor's call. The nurses told me I could not leave until the doctor's call. And he finally called and was like, "You think you're ready to go home? Man, please let me go home."
Christmas Eve, y'all. We have 2 daughters and a newborn son. And this man is in the hospital.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. When I tell you.
God.
I ain't never been so happy to shit in my life. Jeez, I was so happy.
Y'all could just imagine the mental load from those last few months in 2023.
Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy. It was a struggle. It was a freaking struggle. So I end up being out of work from December 1st all the way up into Taylor's birthday. I went back to work on Taylor's birthday. So I got to spend a good bit of time, like beginning of the year, my birthday, and stuff like that.
And I was fine with that because we didn't have anywhere for Christian to go for our daycare wise, and I really didn't want to send my newborn baby to a daycare like so early, like 2-3 months old.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was cool. So I went back to work right on Taylor's birthday, and up until July. So July comes around, everything's going good. I'm doing the dialysis at home. Dialysis is fine. Going to doctor's appointments, all this other stuff. Everything's good. I even went to sign up to get a kidney transplant.
We did that in March. Of this year. Sorry, we did that in March.
So we did that in March and did all the paperwork and all that stuff. So waiting for everything to come back and all that. I don't know what I was doing. But I told you I had the fistula in my arm. But one day I just touched it. And if you have a fistula, it feels like running water. You can feel like you're pulsating, and it feels like running water under your skin. Just the idea. I really can't. I tell her to touch it all the time. It ain't going to do nothing. But a fistula end up blowing. So it ended up causing me to have another surgery on my arm to get my fistula repaired.
And
there's more. And after that, I found out that I had a hernia. So I had 2 surgeries back to back in the month of July of this year.
Yeah.
But I've been back since.
But looking at him, talking with him every day, y'all would have never known.
You never knew.
So he was finally ready to tell his story of living with lupus and now end stage chronic kidney disease. I hate saying disease.
It ain't. It's end stage renal failure. That's what it's called.
So it's not disease.
Chronic kidney disease is before you get to end stage renal failure. I'm in complete renal failure. So that's what it is. Yeah, my kidney is like going. There's no reverse. There's no nothing. I have to get a transplant. So that's where it's at. It's a journey that I'm on. I'm not afraid to talk about it or anything like that, like I used to. It does not make me no different. I can't really get in the pool. I'm not supposed to get in pools and stuff like that. I can't get it wet. Um, it's annoying on days because I have to, like on the weekday, I have to be on a schedule. So there's no, hey babe, on the weekday, like we both have to go to work. Oh, let's just, watch this movie or something. It's like, nah, I gotta hook up at a certain time. I gotta be hooked up.
So
but after that, so I can be off to go to work. But after I hook up, fine. I have to take an extra 10 to 15 minutes to go hook up, and then I'm back to doing whatever I'm doing. On the weekend, I'm free to hook up whenever I want to. It's just remembering. At first, it was just remembering to hook up, and that was tough because you're putting something into your everyday life. But it works. I take my meds, do what I'm supposed to do. It has ups and downs. It'll get greater later. Once I get my golden kidney, I'll be alright. You know what I'm saying? I'll be cool.
So he is on where you're at, Mayo Clinic?
Yeah.
Mayo Clinic. We went there in March. All the initial paperwork and stuff to get him a kidney.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if none of y'all want to know. Let me borrow a kidney for 25 years. You gotta let me want to.
So we don't have any paperwork or anything, but if you or someone who wants to give my husband a kidney,
want to donate? Hey, holla at your boy now. Hey, look at man, I might fix you a little plate or something. You know what I'm saying?
But we are in need of a kidney transplant.
Yeah.
And we have great faith and high hopes that one day he will get his golden kidney and continue living a beautiful life.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna get my kidney.
So
that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, player. It take a lot to go through what I go through, but I go through it with a smile on my face.
Definitely do.
And it could be worse. So I always say that. It could be worse. Yeah. So pray for you, boy.
I'm proud of you for sharing your story and opening up.
I'm pretty cool about it. I'm cool about it now. Mm-hmm. It's an everyday occurrence. Some people find out and be like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Dead serious, man.
He's very brave to share your story. Man, so
you only need one kidney, you know what I'm saying? Let your boy hold something real quick. You know what I'm saying? Catch us on the next episode of Pillow Talk with the Daniels.
Fix your face. Stop. Oh. Thank y'all for watching Pillow Talk with the Daniels. If you have any suggestions, questions, what have you, put them down in the comments, or you can email us at chrisandtiadaniels@gmail.com.
Leave your boy some.
I did not make the email address because I would have made it so much simpler, like the Daniel17@gmail.com. But no, this before we had kids, so I guess he wanted to separate everything. So email us at chrisandtiadaniels@gmail.com. You have any questions, suggestions on anything of Pillow Talk with the Daniels.
Yeah.
Bye. Oh.